All right, welcome to Pass the Mic. It is Friday, February 27th, 2026, episode 196. We are back from another week off, recording actually quite early, recording Sunday afternoon. Mike, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good, celebrating the big U.S. victory.
Yeah, we'll talk about that here in a bit with our mic of the week. I also want to wish my youngest daughter, Melina, her happy 15th today. Hopefully, we get a win to close out the season against Etzel Ford, a little revenge tour game. We lost in overtime to them early in the season. So
Oh,
happy birthday, Melina. Also, February 21st, it is the 66th, what was the 66th anniversary of the assassination of Malcolm X. So, history buffs that listen, I'm sure a lot of you knew that. So, there we go.
a lot of stuff going on. Again, the USA men's hockey team wins in overtime this morning. Feedback and errors. So we got a lot of feedback,
Oh, shoot, Mike,
and
let me correct myself. Did I say 66th?
I don't remember. You
I meant
said it.
61st. I hope I said 61st, but I got to
Oh,
correct
okay.
myself. All right. Anyway, go ahead. Feedback
Fixing
and
an
error.
error, fixing an error already.
Yeah.
A lot of feedback about us taking last week off. The week again, just in a weird way, when we have a day off of school, it makes it harder because the week
Yeah.
gets shorter.
Right.
And with boys basketball, me working boys basketball, you working girls basketball, fans still weren't happy. Also, I'll admit, Rendog and Elizabeth Pate, I was late. I didn't put I normally put a courtesy message up on the Facebook page on Thursday evening and did not do that until early Friday morning. So our overnight listeners were not pleased.
No, they were not. And that again, this one's more on me. We both dropped the ball on Monday, and then with these weeks of basketball, it just gets so difficult. So
But we got ahead of it this week because we already said this week looks tough, even without a day off.
yeah,
And
we
we said
did.
let's knock it out here on Sunday, Sunday morning. Also feedback: Coach Tony loves doing laundry, has a specific system for it, and hates yard work as well. Laundry is like a overrated or really an underrated chore because really the machine's doing most of it. We're not sitting there scrubbing something on a washboard unless
No, but
Tony is. I don't know. I
the
don't know what his
machine's not
laundry room set up
folding
is.
the clothes, but the machine doesn't fold the clothes after though. So
Or the
that's
towels. Yeah, I know, but still, when you think about the work, it's not that difficult. Gary
wow.
Bailey mentioned Molson Broadier as a malt
Yeah.
Molson beverage back in his younger days that he enjoyed. I'm sure the Canadians are hitting that stuff hard today after the loss, but I had never heard of that. It must have been pre Molson Ice.
Sure.
But he said that was a 6.5, which now in the grand scheme of things is lower. Like now everything is so like these microbrews are so strong. That's obviously stronger than a Miller Lite or a Mick Ultra, but if that's your route. So he gave us some feedback on that and gave us a lot of emails too. I believe he sent some wildlife email to us this week. He's enjoying he's our other Southern listener, of course, now down in Florida.
Can you explain what that was all about?
No, I can't. Maybe Gary can. Hey, you're cutting your head off for the people watching at home. So
I'm sorry. But we've been trying to get this roll for about a half hour here, so I'm using my
yeah,
phone. I hope people can hear me.
yeah,
For all we know, nobody can hear a single thing I'm saying. So
yeah. The video's not that great either, to be honest. Not that it's ever good when when we're on anyway, but we'll survive. People listen anyway. They're not here to see us. What else do you have?
all right, so let me flip the slide here. Okay, so we have. Let me. God, this is. Man, I'm totally off my rhythm here. So Max, love the camping. Camping is a scam quote of mine. That's what I brought up. The Law and Order sound effect is a classic.
Oh, we got
Even
sound
Bailey.
effects. Yeah, yeah.
Yep. Even Bailey loves painting. Says y'all are crazy for not liking it. Max hates trimming bushes. It's the cleanup of all the leaves. That is the worst part. I would agree with that.
That was a good one. Yeah.
Mike, you can dance all you want, just don't sing. Hottie, I wonder what Past the Mic episode would look like if it was made by AI. So that would be a very interesting episode to
I
see.
don't know. Probably better than this
Uh,
one.
yeah, for sure. Chris gets into painting the house and cutting lines. Chris Pate, that is. So that's something Chris likes to do. Uh, Tom Pack, the photo collage, his initial collage
Oh yeah, an error.
had an error, and I texted him about it. He immediately fixed it. Jaden Ivey, former Piston, was in in the collage, and he took them out immediately. So Tom, we thank you for fixing that. That was
He was worried about that going into his file. We don't keep files on
we
past the
don't
mic.
keep files. No.
No.
Max came back with Michael Era designed the 9/11 memorial, perhaps a Mike of the week. We'll
Yes.
just
Yep. Fresh from his trip in New York City.
yep. Antoine wants you to set up the Joe's Prime Time.
Oh, see, so we're getting some live show.
Yeah, we're not doing that during the playoffs. So
Well, what
you
about a
and Antoine.
first round game where we know it's like a sure thing? Maybe not the Eastern Conference Finals, but a first round game against somebody they're going to thump anyway.
I
A
mean,
game like a game one or two. It won't even
why don't
matter
we
if
go
it's
for why don't we do for the Cleveland Cavaliers then, or something like that, where it's not as
because past the mic fans are not Cleveland. They're usually Piston fans.
yeah, I'm going to be bringing the Pistons up. I have a lot of hot mic topics, but this one it has to be today. I'm kind of sad about it because I had some real serious stuff to discuss, but we're going to talk NBA a little bit more. My stepdad Ken, hey Mike, how you doing? Okay, being a boomer, the booming sound of a car going down the street at 1 in the morning pisses him off. Uh, Also, being a boomer, when you leave Carlson, you're going to your mom's house. When you get on the ramp to North 75 and there's no one on the
Yeah.
ramp ahead of you, the sound of the stepping on the gas and the engine exhaust of the revving of the engine. He loves that sound. It
Oh
brings him back
yeah.
to his years. He loves cutting the grass and always has loved shoveling the snow. Ironic because
Okay.
he's in Florida whenever he has to shovel, but that's
Yep.
aside.
Today's snow melted, thankfully.
It melted very quickly. He hates patching drywall, not the patching part, but the sanding part that makes an
Cleaning it
absolute
up.
mess.
Yeah, making it look good. Yeah.
I mentioned, just on our text thread, I think we brought this. I brought this up earlier. We were talking. Ketsakura sent us a video of Carl Malone's cheap shot on Isaiah Thomas, and brought me to my two biggest sports regrets. Were cheering for the Utah Jazz in the NBA Finals because I hated the
Ooh.
Bulls, and cheering for the Red Sox so much against the Yankees. So those were a couple things I wanted to mention. Max mentioned to us Sweden is investing more than $110 million to bring printed textbooks back into the classrooms. So those type of things, based upon what we had talked about before. And instant feedback right now as we speak. Joe Burguy likes the sound of newborn babies and the wooden bat. I believe the wooden bat
Okay.
was
Not hitting a newborn baby, I hope.
no. The sound. The wooden bat, I believe, was Terry England. Daughter plays on the varsity basketball team, 3-point shooter.
Okay.
Um, Underrated. So those were likes. Underrated. I think this would be overrated. Maybe ambulance sirens. I thought she said she didn't like that. Revving of a
Okay.
car going down a 25
Well,
mile
this
per hour road. Yeah. So I believe
another
that's
car.
overrated. And then I'm going to shout out Bill Burguy here. I did an impression of him yelling at the refs in a basketball game.
Oh,
Foul! So that's what he likes
that's
to
his. That's
say.
his line.
That's his line. So yeah,
Well,
there we
he's
go.
he's world. He's a world famous criticizer of officials, thanks to the Lions Thanksgiving game.
Correct. He made yes
He
national
made
TV. Yep.
made made became very famous for that.
Yep.
Got anything else?
That's it. Though that's all feedback from the past
We
couple
got
weeks.
a lot, and we are back after, like we said, a week off. It's been 2 weeks, so we may have forgot something or whatever. But hey, your pitcher's much better now too. I don't know what happened. Maybe
Well,
you.
I came back. I was looking at the feedback.
Oh, I know, but even before it was a little grainy.
Oh,
So I'm
really?
saying you're
Okay.
much more clear now. Yeah.
Okay.
Who is your Mike of the week?
So in honor of the U.S. victory, the gold medal victory today in the
Hot off the
hockey,
press.
Mike Sullivan, the coach, New York Rangers coach, and the coach of the USA hockey team. So Mike Sullivan, congrats on the gold, and congrats on being the Mike and pass the Mike. Maybe he'll join Mike Tomlin.
Former Penguins head coach, won 2 Stanley Cups with the Penguins back to back. Actually, was hired mid-year and won a cup that year. And has been getting a little heat in New York for the Rangers, but yeah, and it was like one of those things. He was similar to Mike Tomlin. It was sort of like they just sort of felt like it was like you don't. It's hard to fire a guy. The NHL seems to have a very short leash with coaches. They just they
Yeah,
don't care. They let you go. So, congratulations to Mike Sullivan, on becoming Mike of the Week here for the show and on the gold medal.
congrats. Yeah, all around, and quite a
Uh,
Michigan connection on that team too, by the way.
all four players on the ice when they
Mhm.
scored were from Michigan.
Yep.
Also, Penguins fans will probably point out that the captain was not playing for Canada, so who knows how things could have been, because he plays a big role for that team.
Sure, of course.
I don't.
What a shoulda, shoulda.
you don't think this is not, they haven't won since 1980, not as big of an upset as it was in 1980.
No way. That was there were so many social and political ramifications to that one.
Yeah.
I mean, I know right
I mean,
now,
Canada
our
was the favorite,
they
but
were, but our relationship with
even
Canada,
without Crosby.
our relationship with Canada is a little strained at the moment for a variety of reasons. But I don't think that anywhere near the Miracle on Ice.
Yeah, yeah. All right, education topic this week. We decided to go. We've been good. We've been so hot and heavy into this tech and AI and all this changing the world. We decided to go a little more lighthearted because we have a couple colleagues. Chad Liptow, of course, retired from Shoemate at the semester, and we got a little bit of surprising news on this week when one of our special ed teachers, congratulations to Tamala Reinhardt, not really retiring. It's a move for, they're moving out of state. And we started talking, after we had the break, the day off. Um, when are you going to feel like, just along the lines of, how do you know when it's time to go? And we're throwing finances out because obviously if you're independently wealthy, I mean, you can't go unless the bills are paid, right? But I guess you can look elsewhere, right? Like you
Yeah,
can go work somewhere else. I don't think either of us would ever leave for another education job within a public school, right? I think that's safe to say.
correct. Yes.
Yeah. So,
Never
I
say
mean,
never, but I can't. I've never.
no, I mean, it would have, at the age I'm at, I would hate to have to like reestablish. And then, even if it was something like director of libraries for some big school district, where you're making, good, I just have no desire for that. So, but that doesn't mean like you wouldn't go work somewhere else in another field, right? But so what are your sort of signs, or what are you, or how, and maybe just an update of how you're feeling now? What is it going to be for you for when it's time to go?
So I'm going to be honest at this point right now. Even though I still there are certainly days where my patience is a lot less than others, and certainly years past. I solicited the advice or the input of my wife on this one. Kristen is common knowledge now. She is retiring at the end of this
Oh
year.
yes, congratulate a third. There we go.
Right. And so I asked her, and just a few of the things. Now we're not sure when or where. She's most likely going to go back in the workforce in some sort of capacity. Not sure where, whether it's education or not. But some of the things she brought up, certainly the patience. The things that kind of, again, you used to have patience for, you start to wane. I think you would agree with this one. If the things that used to bring you joy no longer do, on the job, that's certainly another sign, right? And I again, I'm not there yet. I still have when seeing certain kids and having those conversations or seeing kids succeed, still brings me extreme joy. So I'm definitely not there. Or just the idea of taking on another challenge. We're still young enough. I know you had said you don't want to reestablish, but we're still young enough to do other things. I don't know how much longer we're going to be able to say that, but regardless if that is the case. So I thought those were three pretty good reasons. So I'll kind of just piggyback off them and agree. Other than that, I can't foresee something. I know that, even with some of the negative that we see on the job, especially when it comes to sports and the way certain people act at certain sporting events, it's still the job itself does not. We don't get the negativity, the constant negativity as much. So I'm nowhere near there. So I'm going to use hers and just kind of run with those.
So would you say, do you have a window right now? We've talked about a window sometimes. We both talk about a window, like
Yeah, I mean,
maximum years you'd go, minimum number of years you'd work. I mean, this isn't, you're not entering into a contract
no,
that you
we're
have
not.
to.
I would probably say 6 to 10 for both numbers.
6 to 10, 6 on the low end, 10 on the high.
Yeah.
And that would put you at what ages at the end of those windows?
Anywhere from 53 to 57.
Okay, that's still very young, even at the end of the window.
Yeah, I mean, and again, and it could be longer than that. I talked about last year kind of rejuvenated me a little bit, but again, I still wasn't to the point where, and maybe it's because I can't even possibly think about it right now. And I know you said financially, but financially I can't. So maybe that's why I'm not even, my mind's not even allowing me to go to that place. But I still generally have a smile on my face when I leave. We work with wonderful people, and so I'm very happy with what I do in general.
Heck, in 3 to 4 years, you might be getting a check from the federal government for $150,000,
Let's
right?
hope.
I saw, before I go into mine, I saw something about AI. Again, I know I said we weren't going to go back into this, and somebody equated to the fact of, like, if you go back to the people from the 1500s and they looked at us today, they'd be shocked at our lifestyle, like at how
Mhm.
easy it is, right? And then they
Sure,
say, well, go forward 150 years. People are going to look back at our lifestyle now and wonder how we did this, that we worked so many hours and stuff and
sure.
didn't just live in luxury. That's what they're saying. And when you look at it that way, you're like, maybe these people are right. Maybe I'm not being negative. There's there's not going to be no Sean Hannity's in 150 years to complain about
I was
people not
I
working.
was wondering when Hannity would make an appearance here on this episode.
They'll find something to be mad about. But I mean, um, so we threw money out of the equation. You sort of hinted at it. When it's not fun, when it's not enjoyable. My wife always says too. You only work 100. There's only 180 some days scheduled, right? Then you throw in snow days. You're still like you're in the high 170. That's not, without taking a day off either, right? Contractually, you're only working so many days, okay? But when it's not fun, when it's not enjoyable, it's the same thing I say about student council. It's the same thing about everything. Most days are fun. Most days, like you said, we have great people we're working with. We do good things. You sort of said it doesn't hit at this, but I do see in an election year, in 2020 we were heroes. In 2026 we're zeros. The politics right now, especially in Michigan, everyone, and the line always is, I don't dislike teachers. I dislike teachers unions, right?
Yeah.
And but it's such a lame line because of, oh, so if you're a member of it, I guess you're just a lousy teacher then, right? Like that. It's whataboutism, and I feel as if politicians, because again, I talked about this earlier in earlier episodes about the value of the tax dollar. People will still drop lines of like paying salaries and that sorts of thing. And, test scores have trended down a little bit since COVID. To me, you haven't changed your teaching style at all. We still work as hard as we can. I know like Tamala was always great about getting books into kids' hands. We're doing everything we can to get kids to read. And also there are lots of success stories. The kids that want to do well or the kids that are doing well are doing well. We're sending record numbers of kids to U of M Ann Arbor. I've been here for 28 years, right? And the number of kids we send to Ann Arbor, which is one of the top public institutes, has grown tremendously. Used to be one or two kids. Now we're getting up close to double digits, right? So, like, I just feel like if it gets to the point where we're constantly being attacked politically and solutions start getting thrown around just to arbitrarily punish groups or people thinking that's going to solve the problem, that might be time too.
I'm not gonna. I certainly wouldn't disagree with you, obviously, but I think they've studied this before, and people tend to hate, or dislike, I should say, hate's a strong word, the teachers' unions when they're far removed from it. But people even locally that we know how they feel politically about, the teachers' union stuff like that, they love us. And as you get closer to home, people tend to like their local school district. It's real easy to dislike some abstract concept because, whatever media narrative, and this, make sure we attack both sides here, right or left, is telling you. But once you get closer to home, people don't dislike their local schools. Very rarely. I mean, I know downriver friends will tell you otherwise, but in general, and by the way, you just nailed it today on downriver friends. But
They were hating on Girl Scout cookies. And that was not a myth. I did eat a whole sleeve of Thin Mints last night.
if
Ken
you could
Secor said
hate
it
on
would
Girl
happen.
Scout, if Girl Scout cookies, you don't like Girl Scout, there's nothing that's going to please you. But
They
nevertheless,
turned off commenting, by the way. They turned off
I
the
noticed that,
commenting.
yeah. But again, we know all these people. We get along with them. Like, to me, it's some abstract. I know what you're saying, and I agree with you. But that's Lansing, and that's politics. And you get closer to home, we all get along really well. Which is why a guy like Darren Camilleri is very popular around here, because people meet him and know him, and he's not some caricature that you see on news media that you're supposed to dislike. So that's kind of how I agree with you, but at the same time, I think I could take a big picture look and see that, okay, while these folks might not like the concept in principle, in practice, they actually do, and we get along really well.
I think the one thing that it has changed, though, back in previous rounds of being attacked in Lansing, there's not a big swath of people ready to replace us.
Right.
Nobody's going
Nobody's
into
going
this.
to do
And then our age group, we just mentioned, you mentioned the what? You said 5 to 8 or something. I forget
six
the
to
years
10.
already. You said 6 to 10.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people in that window, and there's a lot less that are in the lower windows, right? So what's going to happen in the next 6 to 10? I was going to say mine is, so I turned 51 this year, so mine's like 5 to 7, right? So, 56 to 58 with the possibility of going all the way to 60 probably. So that would be similar to yours, if things are great for some reason and I'm healthy and stuff like that. Um, but there's not 300 apps coming in for a job anymore. And if
Right.
you want to make it worse, and you don't want to make it a well compensated position, and you want to have all these hoops to jump through, I don't know who's going to do it. The AI robots, I guess.
Yes. Yeah. I mean,
Hells.
I don't think that's going to happen either. But I remember reading some years back that that possibility and the things that AI could do better than we could, but they still can't. They still can't get that human connection. So
Human interaction. Yeah. So, but again, so we're both pretty much in the same sort of window of years, and congratulations to those that are retiring or going, and including your lovely wife. How nice for her. And again, yeah, like that's the thing too. Like we said, if we're on the lower end of those years, or even if we're at the higher end, we'll find something else to do. I
right.
think
Or maybe
oil the oil
we'll
the
just the
Wally
machinery of
the Wally wheelchairs that will be rolling around
or
in.
I mean, if nothing else, will if we don't do anything, Sean Hannity will have something to complain about. So
Yes, yes. So I just, yeah, like there it is. So, all right, overrated, underrated this week. I brought it home. The game. You ready, Dr. Rice? We haven't done it in a while.
yep.
As usual, you will get the first side. You'll go first on the first side. I'll go first on the second side. I'm not even going to preview it. Just pulling it out. You're ruling on the subject. Overrated or underrated prequels. I guess it could be books or movies. Prequels or TV shows. I guess.
I'm gonna go overrated.
Oh,
Yeah, I haven't seen too many, but the ones I have, like obviously you have the power of hindsight with the fact that you've done this. I'm just thinking of a few. I wasn't a Star Wars fan, so I guess there's that.
what
Dumb
other
and
big
Dumber did
ones?
one. Dumb and
Oh,
Dumber
Dumb
did
and Dumber.
one
Okay.
that didn't land at all. Trying to think of what else. What's that show? It's a real funny CBS show. The Big Bang Theory did one.
Oh,
Young
okay.
Sheldon.
Yep.
I think it did pretty well, but I don't think it did as well. So I'm going to go overrated on that.
I like it because I like if the story's good enough. I like stuff that comes before. I did like the Star Wars prequels. I was always a big Darth Vader guy, so it was pretty cool to see what happened. I didn't really. The Walking Dead did sort of one that I didn't like. I guess it's hit or miss, but I'm going to say underrated. But of course, it has to be done well. All right, how fitting this is. Right around the corner. I think we may have done this before when we did holidays, so we're sort of going to be repeating it. But St. Patrick's Day.
I thought that's where I was
Overrated,
going.
very easily overrated. No offense to our Irish fans or fans in Boston. Uh, it was okay, but even like, especially, I don't get it now as an adult for sure. Correct me if I'm wrong, and my kids are older. I think it's like they do stuff now, like with the elf. Like remember the elf for Christmas where
I
you hide.
know it.
Like
Yeah.
don't I think I've seen some stuff on social media where parents now have to do. Yes, Elisa, who doesn't listen, is yelling up. The leprechaun comes and does something much like the elf, which I hated the elf. I think
Yeah.
because like when I was growing up, St. Patrick's Day was nothing. We have no Irish in us, but we didn't. My parents didn't have we didn't have. I mean, I guessed maybe every once in a while some corned beef and cabbage my mom would make. But what about you? What says you?
So it's okay. Mine is going to be underrated. And it's not even because of that. This is almost a like this. Like I'm not a fan of the holiday anymore as I've gotten older. I used to think it was pretty cool, but there's a couple things I associate with it that I just love. Number one, the NCAA tournament. If it's that weekend, I think that could be a ton of fun. And I can remember a few different times having just a blast on that day just for that reason alone. So I'm starting with that. And then something we've talked about here before. My favorite scene in the movie The Fugitive was the St. Patty's Day parade. And for those two reasons, I cannot label this overrated, even though I don't partake in the festivities anymore. So, but I'm going underrated for those two reasons alone.
That is a great scene. I know we've talked about this because I talked about the wooden nickel at
Yes.
Eastern Michigan University. But yeah, yeah, and again, no offense, people that want to go out and it's a Tuesday this year. I know because we're doing our blood drive on St. Patrick's Day, which by the way, the American Red Cross highly suggests after donating a pint not to have a pint. I guess that would probably make your BAC go
Ugh.
double probably.
Yeah.
Um, but so I will not even be partaking because I'll be donating. I know you don't even want to hear any of this, but I just don't. And people go out and do it. And I know that, like in Detroit, they have the run, or they have the parade. I'm sorry, down in Corktown, and a lot of times, most of the bars, I would assume, they're probably going to. A lot of the parties are going to be that Saturday before, right? But there'll still be stuff on the Tuesday.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Why is it the Saturday before? Why can't it be after? What's the?
I'm sure it can be too. What are you going to be doing anything special?
No, probably not. But again, when it's that weekend, I remember one year I took the day off of work and went and watched. And I take very few days off, but it was such a fun
Yeah,
day.
you got the bonus.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So yeah,
Okay,
you're
yeah,
right.
yeah, that's good. So, all right, enjoy Guinness. I did not give up. The Ren Dog reached out to me because it was just last week, Fat Tuesday, and the Ren Dog is always interested in my Lenten. And I have given up alcohol in the past, but now I don't drink as much at all. So the Catholic guilt way of doing things is you can't give up something that's easier, right? Like you're supposed to like make it
What'd
harder.
you give up on?
So, so fast food because I get more fast food in a month than I do alcohol. So I can have
So
a
we've
beer.
talked about this. Then are you gonna hit up Qdoba or Chipotle, Panera?
I don't think those are fast food.
Okay.
And I'm not going to hit Panera at all because some people say it's the drive-through rule. If it has a drive-through, you can't hit it up.
Okay.
Panera has a drive-through,
That's your.
technically.
Is that your rule
That's
then?
yeah. I think Wingstop would be okay. Pizza's okay always, right? Pizza's not fast food.
Yeah. We
Should
did
I
this.
call? Should I call the archdiocese for?
For clarification, you've done that before, so yeah.
I have, so they don't want to hear back from me. All right, so there's the game. Thank you, Dr. Rice, Dr. Patrick Rice, not Michael Rice. All right, hot mic take. What do you got this week?
Okay, so again, I had a really serious conversation ready, and then I went to CBS.com. The person that's watching this right now might be a little confused and probably can't see me, but I had to pull this up. And Mr. Gary Bailey said he did overrated and not want to talk about the NBA. Well, Gary, I'm sorry. We're talking about the NBA. So, Mike, this is kind of for you. You are always, not always, but a lot of times you complain about how the Detroit fans are always seeking to be victims, right? Well, here we go. Eight
Always.
best eight best storylines for the NBA stretch run. Now, keep in mind the Pistons are number one in the NBA record wise, winning percentage, record wise, fewest losses. They are number one, 2 years removed from having one of, if not the worst season in NBA history. Here are the eight storylines. I won't read them obviously to you, but I'll read you the storylines, just the headlines of each of them. Jason Tatum's potential return to the Celtics, number one. Number two, how seriously do we take the Knicks? Well, seeing that they just got their ass kicked by the Pistons, we probably
Oh,
shouldn't take them that seriously. Sorry, I hope we can bleep that out. Number
that's all right.
three,
Nope.
can the
Oh yeah,
Lakers
I can. That's
secure
right.
can the Lakers secure a top six seed? That's number three. That's the number three storyline. Outstanding. Number four, can the Spurs jump the Thunder? Number five, tanking wars at the bottom of the standings. So now we're going to the bottom of the standings. Number six, Cavs Harden prime for a run. Number seven, Rookie of the Year race. Number eight, MVP race just got interesting again. We do get a Cade Cunningham reference at the very, very bottom of this. Now add in Cade Cunningham, Luka Doncic, and Jalen Brown. That's the reference to the Detroit Pistons on this headline. So, Mike, this is why Detroit fans feel aggrieved. We can't even get one of the eight storylines.
I agree that that is wrong. Like but
Let's
maybe
be
they're
honest.
just so good. Maybe they're so good they don't even need to be referenced. They're just a sure thing to get through the Eastern Conference.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So that's your hot mic take.
I'm
You're
so I'm
going.
so I was so angry. Again, I had a series. Jonathan Haidt was on Fareed Zakaria talking about cell phones and had this nice conversation planned and applying it to Carlson High School, something Australia did. But I came across this. I'm like, it has to be today because the article was today. So
Well, hey, don't worry because mine's even less stressful. So
okay,
wouldn't you say like back? You're a little younger than me, but back like when you were like upper, once you started driving and could go out to eat at places without your family, maybe on a date or whatever with friends, and then into college. To me, like pre global market meltdown from when we were in like the late 90s up through '08, it seemed like places always had long waits. Like there would be like waits. Don't wouldn't you say so? Like especially down in this area,
Absolutely.
even like standard Applebee's, you know,
Yeah. Outback.
you're
We
talking
used to go to
out,
Outback every Friday, and we had to sit at the bar if we wanted to eat there.
yeah. And then the meltdown happened, right? The
Hmm.
meltdown happened, and people tightened up their belts a little bit, ate out less, and then I think it sort of seemed like, oh wow, these places aren't as crazy as they used to be, right? Like you could go to these places, you could walk up in on a Friday, there might be a little wait, but you weren't waiting an hour sometimes, like they wouldn't say an hour. And then I feel as if we had the COVID lockdown, and this is where I saw something the other day in the New York Times, 3 or 4 dining out meals are carry out, 3 or 4.
Wow.
All right, yeah. So the other day, yesterday, my wife and I went out to Ford Road and had stopped at a couple places, drove by the Texas Roadhouse out there. The lot looked, it was, I don't know if they were giving away steak. And I know the one up in Taylor is always packed, right?
Always packed there. Yes.
Still
Anytime you
now,
go.
like it seems like that's a type of place nowadays where there's always a wait still, like to me. And I get it, it's the weekend after Valentine's, but I think it's even when it's not Valentine's, it's spreading into Meyer. My question to you is current day, because nowadays I think we've all been conditioned that I'm not, unless it's like I'm not waiting for long. Like I'm going to go to a place, it's going to be 20 minutes, maybe 30, right? What's
Yeah,
the
top.
longest you'll wait for a table if you didn't prearrange a reservation?
That's about it. 20 or 30 minutes. Because there's
20. So
so many
so
other
so
places.
if they tell you like an hour, you're definitely not doing it. But because that's the
No.
way it used to be, right?
Yeah, but I think
And these
that's isn't
places,
that getting older now? Maybe we're getting more spoiled this year. But isn't that getting older? Maybe our patience is less.
but places didn't really have like call ahead. Not, there's been a lot of adjustments made. Call
Yeah.
ahead seating, reserve. You could check in online. You can do these things. So that's helped a little bit. But there are still places that have these outrageously long waits. And I was just curious when we went downtown, right? Remember we went downtown for the Pistons game, and Harry's, and we put our name in. You couldn't. And what did they tell us? They told us about 40 minutes, right? I think, or 40 or
Yeah.
30 minutes. But we weren't going anywhere. We went and
We
had
were
a couple
fine there because there was other things to do. Yeah.
and it actually moved pretty quickly when we got there. I mean, we weren't going to leave because we were right there, but I was just curious because I saw that Texas Roadhouse and I was like, oh my goodness, I couldn't even imagine. Like there were people like all over, and this was the
Well,
one
I
in
think
Westland.
you think about Texas Roadhouse and Taylor. Just only speaking of that, there's other choices over there now too. There's pretty good restaurants over there.
Well, I mean, there's
You go-
places in Westland, but I mean,
Yeah,
I just
I'm
don't know.
just
I do you when you have something that you're doing, do you make a reservation?
yeah. I try. Yes.
Yeah, but some nights you're just going out, right? Like, and I know, like, even
Most
like
nights it's more.
B Dubs up in West Road, if there's a game or something, it could turn out to be a long wait there too.
Yeah, but again, I guess it would. I guess it depends on the circumstance. I think about I think about Texas Roadhouse, which again is a place I like, but there you're not going to find a seat at the bar, and you're just going to have to crowd in with all these other people, especially if it's cold. You're going to be crowded in that area, and I wouldn't have the patience for it. If it's the summer, I guess you could sit outside and just kind of enjoy each other's company, but my patience level is much less now, so I would find something else.
All right, I'm going to say this: 20 to 30 minutes locally, up to an hour traveling.
Okay,
Like if I'm
that's
out of town, I don't want to go drive another place. You know what I mean? That sort of thing.
I just think
Out of
about
town.
even. I'm not a big amusement park guy, but I think about when I was younger, waiting 2 hours for a ride. That to me sounds
Yeah,
insane.
well, crazy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we have nothing really to pick, but I want you to pick. This is what I'm going to pick. We're going to put it right at the spot because we're right around the All Star break happen. Will the Pistons finish the regular season with the East's best record?
Yes,
You're
that's
locking
almost.
that in.
I'm gonna say almost a foregone conclusion right now because the Cavs are starting to win some games after this trade. But yeah, they're I think 5 up right now, maybe 6 in the loss column. So I'm gonna say yes.
Okay. Well, there you go. You heard it here first. That's our pick. We're not picking anything until maybe opening day. Opening day for Major League Baseball. If you
April in
can
the
watch
D.
the games anymore. All right, everybody. Well, have a great week. We're glad to be back. We're going to try not to miss any more weeks. Basketball season's getting into the playoff mode, high school basketball. So,
Oh yeah, hey,
then
let's give a shout out. Good luck to the boys playing this week. The districts begin
yes,
tomorrow.
they play
5:30
tomorrow at Monroe High School versus
at Trenton High School versus Monroe.
yes, at Trent High School versus Monroe, right? Yes, and then they would play Wednesday if they win, and then Friday would be the finals, all at Trenton.
Correct. Yep.
All right, good luck, and then the girls next week.
Correct.
Yep. All right, everybody. Have a great week, and we will see you next week. Have a good week, everybody.